What's good? What's good? I'm back. Triple P, Paul Pickett Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Pickett, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, sport events, and much, much more. Today I'm going to react to KRS One Spit Knowledge, and I think it has to do with a Kanye West situation. But before we do that, let's give you a word from one of our sponsors.
Are you a musician looking for music marketing and promotion? Then look no further than Promo Palace LLC, your one-stop shop for all music promotion services. Services include Spotify playlist pitching, YouTube video promotion, record pool promotion, blog placements, radio airplay promotion, SoundCloud promotion, and much more. With over 2,000 customers and over 10 years of experience in online promotion, Promo Palace LLC is a company you can trust. For more info, please go to promopalace.biz. See you there.
You heard the beautiful lady. You need online marketing promotions for your music, product, brand, or service. Please check us out, promopalace.biz. Also, if you're a cat lover, a dog lover, we got the new little apparel, t-shirts, and hoodies. Go to promopalace.biz and click on merchandise. Links are in the description as well. So let's get into it. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everybody. KRS One spitting that wisdom.
Muscle. You're not gonna dust him off and say, yo, young blood, come on, let me show you something. Let me protect you. No, they were the first ones to come in, rip off. These are older blacks ripping off the talent of younger blacks. Black men are taking advantage of young black talent. We didn't get the fame. We didn't get the Grammy. But we got the soul. What was whack about hip hop? The worst thing. 1979 Sugar Hill Records. This is the worst thing that ever happened in hip hop. When Sugar Hill Records came out, a woman named Sylvia Robinson and her husband Joey Robinson, they owned all of rap. Okay. If you could somehow phantom that in your head for a hot minute, there was one record label that had all the top rappers of the day on it, and no other company had that. Had we stuck together, black people would not be in this situation. They say hip-hop is a $10 billion culture every year. That's black people money we should be having. But black people rejected us and lost $10 billion a year.
KRS One really goes deep.
$10 billion a year gone. Whole dream of Dr. King gone. Take it up now to Sugar Hill Records. All the greatest hip-hop acts are on the label. But they're not getting treated right. Black people are ripping off black people. I say this respectfully because I'm talking about our parents. These are older blacks ripping off the talent of younger blacks. Respectfully. KRS, Scott LaRock, Boogie Down Productions.
Rest in peace, Scott LaRock.
Black men are taking advantage of young black talent. B-Boy Records was owned by black people, older black men from the 50s and 60s. You would think, after everything we went through in civil rights, you see a young man coming up, he calls himself Knowledge Reigns Supreme. And he's trying to come up, he's homeless, he's in the street, but he's talking that blackness. And you see he got a crowd around him. And you see he got some little time, you're not gonna dust him off and say, yo, young blood, come on, let me show you something. Let me protect you. No, they were the first ones to come in, rip off me and Scott LaRock for the Criminal Minded album. To this very day, black folks still ripping me off for the Criminal Minded album. To this very day.
I was one of Jay's best earner. Anytime he needed that beat, boom. You know what I'm saying? So
black people are taking it, they're eating their children. They're eating their children. This is the worst thing to happen to not only hip hop, but to black civilization in the United States. Okay. Now, those that are supposed to be representing a people have dropped the ball. Matter of fact, they didn't even drop it. They threw that shit in the garbage willfully. They didn't want no responsibility. This is the worst thing to happen to hip hop in modern times. This is the bottom of the barrel. This is it right here. That you would be propped up by your people.
Okay.
Make millions of dollars on your people. And when you get that money, you buy yourself a Maybach. You give your money to Germans. And I love Berlin. Yeah. I want to go there.
I bet he does. He does shows there all the time.
In the scheme of our conversation, how you giving your money to Germans? They rich. Germans are the richest European. In fact, right, they're the richest Europeans. Okay? Why would you, ignorant Negro, give your money to a rich person? At least give your money to Spain. At least give your money to Greece. At least give your money to poor countries. This is how magnificent hip hop was. It produced KRS-One.
Let me chime in real quick. What he's kind of saying there kind of reminds me of the interview Dr. Claude Anderson had on the Breakfast Club, where he was saying that like Asian communities, like they spend the money like 4 or 5, 6 times within the community before they spend it outside the community. Same thing with Hispanics. And same thing with white people, because most businesses are predominantly white owned anyways. But like he was saying that black culture, they automatically run and spend their money and the white businesses opposed to the black owned businesses like Dizzle Brand. Dizzle Brand is a black owned business. Then it kind of reminds me of what he was saying. Claude Anderson was saying about his parents owned the only black owned bus system in America at one point. And people, this is around the time when the Rosa Parks thing came about, and people chose, they wanted to go ride the white buses, as they were called, opposed to the black owned bus systems. You know, this has always been a common thread that I've heard before, that people in the black community need to spend all their money and the majority of money in the black community and not go spend with the white businesses and whatnot. And that's basically what he was saying with hip hop. They started out with a black owned label who had all the acts, and if you know, black business owners would have band together, they would have controlled the market on hip hop, which is a $10 billion business. And now you got all these corporate white labels that came in the mix that are getting most of the pie. You know, they literally had the market cornered, and they chose to just give it up, I guess is what he's saying. You know, and I never really knew that there was and when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense that, you know, when hip hop started at first, people didn't really know what it is. So there had to be one label that knew what it could be and knew the potential for it. I remember even when I first got into hip hop, the parents were still like, how can you listen to that? People were saying, I don't know how you understand that, you know. And if you actually, the thing is they weren't trying to listen. They weren't trying to give it a chance. They weren't actually sitting there and listening. They just blocked it out, censored it out totally. Because if you listen to hip hop and rap music, you know, especially in the 90s, you could clearly understand what cats were saying. You know, I would argue that rock and roll was harder to hear, than hip hop. With some of the fast rock and roll tempos they had going. Give it away, give it away, give it away. And I would argue that faster tempo songs like that were just harder to understand, all the lyrics and whatnot, than rapping, which all rappers started out originally as slow flow rappers. Chilling on the block. You know my stuff's hot. Yo, I got the spot. That it was so basic, It's not like it is now, It's more advanced and whatnot. So, yeah, it reminds me of what Dr. Clyde Anderson was just saying about, spending money within the community, within your culture, and not going to support other cultures first and foremost. That's what it sounds like happened. And, the music business is a dirty business. It's a dirty, shady business. It has been like that since day one. And you got to know how to navigate around the dirtiness and the shadiness. It's like I was telling my friend, are we naive to think that politics is such a dirty game? Are we naive to think that politicians should be clean in a dirty game? I mean, you play in dirt, you get dirty. And that's what the music business is. It's a dirty business. You play in dirt, you're going to get dirty. You just got to know how to navigate, know your worth, know your value, have good representation, a good lawyer, and that's another problem in the music business. The music business signs a lot of young acts and talent who know nothing about the music business. They don't know how things work, how they operate past making music. Once again, I'll thank you for tuning in. KRS-One, one of my favorites of all time. He's really a cat that's hard to disagree with. I really never hear anything that comes out of KRS-One's mouth that I've typically disagreed with. And I've met him in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Cat's Cradle. One of the greatest entertainers I've ever seen perform in my entire life. Real down to earth, humble cat. I was literally last person in the line, waiting to get in the show. And as soon as I got in, I turned around and looked, and I'm only 5'4", 5'5" at most. Turn around and look at this KRS-One, and I literally called him by his real name, because that's the thing. When I see these famous rappers or celebrities, I don't really treat them like they're superior and I'm inferior. Like they're just anything different. They're just the average person that's just more famous with more money. And I just like, yo, what's up, Chris? We just drove like 1.5, 2 hours to come see you. Much love and respect. And he gave me dap. And then 2-3 seconds later, he was literally walks through the door and grabs the mic and is already on the stage talking about whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. I mean, instantly, it was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. He wasted no time. Instantly just goes on stage, grabs the mic, and just starts the show, man. So much love and respect, KRS-One. Can't disagree with anything he says or that he just said in that video. And I definitely totally get where he's going. It basically reminds me of what Dr. Clyde Anderson was saying on the Breakfast Club. If you go back and watch that interview, it'll touch into a lot of things that really equate to what KRS-One is saying about hip hop music. Once again, I thank you for tuning in. Paul Pickett Podcast, and I'm out.